man.
Backward.
Who's got some wins to celebrate so we can jump right into it? Let's not drag our feet. Let's jump.
I have a new listing going live today. Yay! Actually, it's actually technically live. I'm going to go put the sign out as soon as we're done here.
Word,
Yay!
word.
And my son and his girlfriend are here from Colorado. Yay!
Yay!
Yay.
Christmas family time. Yay!
I got a first-time investor buyer under contract on late Friday night. This was he was a referral to me. Got it for 22K under list price. So he's happy right now.
Woo!
We had inspections today, so
Let's go. Nice work. Anyone else? Last call. All right. Well, then let's just go. I want to make sure we cover all the things. So I got two little things. I got two things to share. So do. All right, we're just gonna get going. So do you remember Friday? I just talked about the formula that I discovered um, on one of my coaching calls with one of my coaches, and they were talking about the trust formula. And so I wanted to put together visually a little bit more around this, and then I took some time to just dive deeper and say, okay, so like, what is it about those that like, because there's times where I feel pitched and it feels odd on my side. And then there's times where I'm like literally just like holding my wallet out and saying, when are you going to ask me for my money? Because I really just, I need to buy something from you. Like there's just so much value. Right. And so I put together this presentation to talk a little bit more about it. Right. And so trust is the key currency that we're going to be talking about today. And this is why the best salespeople never have to sell, is because they're purveyors of trust and they understand the formula, right? So what's the formula? We talked about this on Friday, and that trust is a factor of the amount of value that you bring over time, then divided by the number of times that you're asking for something in return. And so if the ask ever feels weird, if you're ever feeling like hesitant or reticent to ask, it's because you're attempting to withdraw on an account that doesn't have enough funds, right? It's about the trust account balance. When you have a high balance of trust, what's interesting is what you'll discover is that the ask becomes a natural byproduct of the relationship, right? So this is why 40% convert and others struggle to reach 2%. It's not about your product, your price, your pitch. It's about the balance when you make the ask, right? So it's about reframing what it is. So making sure you understand when you ask for something, it's actually a withdrawal from the relationship. You're making a withdrawal from your trust account. Every time you create value, you're literally just making a deposit into the relationship. Time is a deposit. The amount of time that you're giving value between asks is it creates more trust. And then the overdraft problem. And that's like when you ask too early, it's like writing a check when the account is empty. I've messed this one up so hard because I remember when I was new, I just was like, I'm just going to do everything everybody tells me. So I uploaded all of my emails into the CRM. I put everybody onto a campaign, and I was just sitting there at my dashboard, just watching the unsubscribes roll in. And I'm like, what is, and these are people that I know really well. And I would reach out or I would get an email saying, hey, I never asked to be sent your stuff. And I just thought that our relationship up to that point was enough. And I was wrong. And so that was my huge aha around that. Right. And so the reason why a lot of people fail in sales is they don't understand the value of the ask. They rush the timeline, and then they actually withhold real value and hold the good stuff behind. Well, if you sign with me, then I'll give you the good stuff. Or if you work with me, then I'll give you the good stuff. Or if you do a deal with me, then you get to come to my party or whatever that is. So pressure is a trust deficit. Artificial scarcity is a trust deficit. Attempting to push, persuade, or sell is a trust deficit and withdraws from the account. And I was thinking, okay, like what would be a good baseline rule if you were to follow on a trust to ask ratio? And one of the figures that we came up with was a 10-to-1 rule. And so that's 10 units of value for every clear and confident ask. Not like a suggestion, etc., but it's like, hey, I really want to take, like, I really need your help. Do you know of anybody? Are you looking for? Can you help me? Right? Like that's what I would consider like a confident ask is, hey, I'm calling specifically because we're looking to help 5 more families this year, and we're coming down to the clock. I'm just curious, is there anybody that you know? Right? Like that's a confident ask. And so with a cold audience, the ratio is a little bit more like 10 to 15 to 1. They don't know you yet. And so you've got to make like 10 or 15 investments into that relationship or real high value over a shorter period of time. So like if like a regular item of value is 1 unit of value, and then 1 week is 1 unit of value, to get to 10 or 15, it's either going to take you 15 weeks of only offering one thing of value per week, or you got to really up your cadence or up the value that you're bringing and shorten the timeline. Now, warm audiences are obviously a 5 to 7 to 1 ratio. Like these are people that already know you, love you, trust you. They understand your heart. But here's what's interesting. The people that do this the best and at the high, like Alex Hermozi in one weekend made $8 million on his book in one presentation. Why? Because he understands the elite trust ratio. He spent years just pouring in look at this, 30 to 50 to Uh-oh. All right, welcome back. I don't know what that was. Did you guys hear that too? Or is it just me? All right. They put consistent long-term pressure on the value. They show up every day for years, not just every so often, not just once a quarter, not whenever they get motivated from a call, etc. They're constantly pumping out value, cadence after cadence, and they're shaking it up. They're changing a little bit. And they have really rare and very purposeful asks. They make offers when the trust is absolutely unquestionable, and they have zero desperation. They have an abundance mindset for every interaction, right? So let's just take a look at them individually. So Gary Vaynerchuk is one of the guys that I follow. And what if you ever know anything about Gary Vaynerchuk is that he started on YouTube when YouTube was brand new, and he was working for his father's liquor store. And he was just doing wine reviews on YouTube, and those wine reviews were helping to increase sales from his dad's liquor store. He created over 1,000 episodes of free content before even selling a single bottle online. But once that hit, people were ordering wine from their store from all over the country by the cases, right? So he's got years of daily content. He documented the journey with radical transparency, no gatekeeping, no scarcity, no nothing. And he even wrote a book about it called, do you guys know what it's called? Jab, 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 right hook. And it has everything to do with this cadence. The jab is value, 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 and then ask. Jab, 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 right hook is one of his early books. His sequel to that is called Crush It. And it follows up on the jab, 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 right hook. It's one of the first books I ever read on Gary Vaynerchuk, right? My other brother, Alex Hermozi, and why is this cut off? Oh, this is weird. Alex Hermozi, he just gives away the playbook. He's got a 30 to 1 ratio. So he shares tactical frameworks and step-by-step systems. He offers numbers and proof and transparency from his failings, from all of his other stuff, holds nothing back. And when he makes an ask, it's one time and it's really, really big for the general audience. He tells you unabashedly that his content is to find businesses that are $2 to $5 million or $5 to $10 million so they can become $100 million businesses. He wants a majority ownership in those businesses or partnership. So Alex offers a 30-1. Andy Frisella. If you don't know who Andy Frisella is, you probably know one of the things that he's most known for, and that's 75 Hard. He created 75 Hard as a free value add to the community to share a lot of his principles and his philosophies. I found Andy through his podcast, The MF CEO, and then it's actually coming back. And then his other podcast, Real AF. Now, here's the thing about Andy. Andy is all about clear leadership stance. He is very unabashedly who he is, and you love the guy or you can't stand him. And he's like, that's perfect. He's like, I literally, I'm not going to talk to you one way or the other about it. You either love the guy or you're like, this is the most abrasive, obnoxious thing I've ever heard. I love the guy, right? So he's my spirit animal. So he talks about alignment converts faster than persuasion. When people see themselves inside your message, the sale happens automatically. I did 75 Hard. I bought the book. I got the app. I paid for the app. It was really easy. He brings so much value. And then he's like, and here, we're doing this thing. I'm like, cool. I'm in. I'm all in. Right. And then and guess what? I posted a post just earlier this week. Guess where I get all of my supplements? Supplement Superstores, which he founded, that he talks about on the podcast. He doesn't have any ads. He just talks about what it was like for the first 10 years of opening his stores and making no money. Ed Mylett also has a really good trust ratio. His is an 18-1, and his is all about deep conversations, vulnerability, depth. He brings in guests that you may not have access to. He uses borrowed credibility by, again, bringing in those guests, and then by bringing in powerful guests and having conversations with them, it transfers trust onto him. And he shares stories of struggle, faith, resilience, and creates those bonds that way. So why am I sharing with you these things? Because it's these types of conversations that your clients, your audience is yearning for. You can apply any one of these angles into your trust formula for 2026. And then Russell Brunson. If you don't know who Russell Brunson is, he's the founder of ClickFunnels. It's a huge marketing software where if you've got digital products or anything, like you've been in a funnel at some point in your business that came from the mind of Russell Brunson. So he creates a lot of challenges. He gives away his books at cost. He has weekly podcast episodes. He hosts huge events. And he's got a lower trust to ask ratio, but he brings massive value. And he's been doing this for like a decade. All right, so how to make the ask easy. And so I'm going to share with you here, but I'm going to jump over. I did another version of this specifically for you guys for real estate. So I just want to get through this here. So teach what you sell, guide people through the process, share them what you do, how you came up with your marketing strategies. If you coach, give away some insights. The best customers will generally come from your free content. Repeat the philosophy, not your offers, your beliefs, your methodology. When people internalize your worldview, buying with you or working with you becomes obvious. And here's an important one. Stay present after the no. If you make an offer and somebody doesn't lean into it, that's okay. We just continue to provide value, continue to work with them, and then ask less than you think. Here's the thing. When you stay present in front of people and you're providing value and you're sharing, when you share insights from the industry, you don't have to talk about you being in the industry because you are now being perceived as a local market expert. You're being perceived as the economist of choice because you're literally sharing on the day-to-day experience, expertise, and insight, which are the three things that everybody's looking for. And then the reason why this works is that when trust is present, resistance isn't. And there we go. And if the ask feels hard, it's just your timing's off. You're early or you're inconsistent or you're actually delivering less value than you think. Because remember this, value isn't what you think is valuable. It's what does the audience find valuable? Be like, but I share stuff all the time. Well, guess what? If nobody cares, then it's not valuable. It's just your ego, right? But I post a market update snapshot slide, but I don't talk about it. Yeah, nobody knows what that means. That's not valuable. You're wasting screen time. You're wasting a scroll. If you literally just post numbers and then nothing else, no insight, just don't. So when you want to make this work, you just fix the ratio, not the script. Questions, ahas, insights around that before I jump into the next one, because I put together one specifically for you guys as well. But like, do you see how this plays out? And here's the thing, and I don't want to disappoint you, right? This is the part where it's like, you're like, yeah, Matt, it makes sense, but it sounds like it's going to take some time, and it sounds like a lot of work. And I'm like, yeah, duh. You guys have the opportunity to make $250,000 or more by talking about stuff. Yeah. Guess what? Work. Because work works. I promise you. Or hide and grind. So you can hide and grind or show up and attract your people. You get to do either one. Like, I don't care which one you do. I'm giving you the option of like, if you want to work with like an army of people that see you, saw you, found you, want to work with you, stop hiding. You have to put yourself out there. You got to be present, like Gary, like Alex, like Russell, like Ed, all those guys. Here's the thing. I feel like I know them. I never met them. They're literally like my best friends. I talk about it all the time. My best friend, Ed. He doesn't know it yet, but I'm his best friend because I've been consuming his stuff for forever. So, any other real quick ahas before I share the next part?
No, I think this is good. And when you talk about like working, you gotta like it's gonna take some time, isn't it? Gary Vee, doesn't he like recommend you post like a ridiculous amount of time a
So
day?
he
Like he
posts 60
just
pieces. He posts 60 pieces of content per day, but he has a team. And the
yeah,
thing is like, and there's a lot of people that kind of make fun of him because what he doesn't share is, he's got a huge back end upsell. He's creating all this free content and it's like consumer facing, but he's doing it to show like Coca-Cola and Johnson and Johnson, this is what I can do for you. Do you see how people relate to my content? And he charges them
right.
$500,000. It's free for you, but it's $500,000 to work with him if you're Johnson and Johnson or Coca-Cola.
Yeah. And I guess my point not being like everybody needs to go create 60 pieces of content a day. That's pretty unattainable for us as individuals, but that just that consistency and the, each one of those people that you went over is putting out content regularly. They're being consistent in
It's
what they're doing.
consistent, it's dynamic, it's over time, and it's massive value packed. And here's the thing. If you're putting stuff out and you're like, man, I really should charge for this, that's when you know you're doing the right thing. When you're not gatekeeping the best stuff, that's when you're actually really bringing value. Because here's the thing: information in itself is powerful. However, execution, implementation is where it's at. And just because you give somebody all the things, I can't tell you how many times I've shared my for sale by owner plan that I got from somebody else, or my expired plan, or whatever plan. I can give you step by step everything, like the business to business nomination plan. I give everybody everything. Guess who does it? Almost no one. I think Michelle is one of the few that ever put her own spin on it and put it in a box. And I'm like, I freaking love that. That's fantastic. Like 0.1%. So if you think by sharing your stuff, you're going to get like swiped out of the market, like cool. That's just on you. That's not a reality. Because yeah, execution's everything. All right. I got 11 minutes to jump in for you guys. All right. So the trust before the transaction. Here's why great agents don't chase clients. The best agents attract. How do they do it? They do it through this process. They understand the formula. What's the formula? We talked about this, right? So value plus time divided by ask. Your opportunities earned, it's not pitched. Insights, answers, guidance builds your credibility, demonstrates your expertise, and that consistency over time creates familiarity, creates comfort, creates trust. You're going to find people that like reach out to you. They're like, man, I've been following you for forever. I see you all the time. Look, my coaching program, like my coaching, I don't market for my coaching. People DM me. They're like, I'm ready. I've been watching you for years. I'm ready. I'm like, cool, let's go. And guess what? My needs analysis calls isn't about, are you ready to invest? They're just like, what is it? What does it look like? And when can we start? That's a beautiful thing. What if every listing appointment you went on, every buyer consultation isn't whether or not you're going to work with me? It's here's what it looks like. Here's what we need. Here's when it starts. Sign here, move forward. That's a much better thing. right? All right. So agents, the mistake that agents make that kills is that they lead with the ask. And this comes from bad classes and bad coaching. You get into a class day one and they say, hey, get everybody on your phone and hit them with the competition script. Hey, I'm taking a class and we're doing a competition. I need at least 10 referrals this week. Like, listen, I get it. I was also paid to teach it. And like, don't do that. Like, especially if you haven't talked to anybody in forever and the first call you have is, I'm in a competition. So you're creating false scarcity. I need this in the end of the week in order to win. Like, all of it is like mired in inauthenticity. And I hate that, right? So the hard truth is that if you're leading with ask, it's not a conversation. It's a withdrawal from an account with a zero balance. And if it ever feels weird, that's likely what's happening. And like you can feel that, right? So here's what clients actually want. They want to understand, they want to feel safe before they learn about your skill. Do you understand their situation? Are you consistent? Will you continue to show up after the listing? Will you answer the calls when things get tough? Are you reliable? And will you protect me? So do you understand me? Am I going to be able, like, are we going to partner through this? And do you have my best interest in heart? Or do I feel a little bit of that commission breath? Because trust chooses the agent before price does. I love this. And the client who trusts you rarely talks about commission. When trust is high, resistance is low in all aspects. So the real estate trust ratio, about 15-1. So what are some examples that build that trust? A couple different things. You could be doing market insights, neighborhood trends, pricing analysis, forecast, even when there's no transactions in sight. And here's the thing. Don't just share the slides. Look a little deeper. Find something interesting. Talk about a perspective of it that's unique. And then have some local expertise. What do you love about where you live, or what is there about the communities that you serve or people that you've moved into that like they love about it? Here's what's beautiful. You can be reaching out to your past clients saying, hey, I'm putting together a local marketing feature. And I'm just curious, what have you discovered about your neighborhood that you didn't know before you moved in here that you love? I'd love to talk about it. I'd love to share your insights about it, right? And then problem-solving content. What are the common questions that people have before they're asked? Can you educate people on financing, inspections? Like, there's so many things that we do naturally that so many people have no idea. And even if they've done 2 or 3 transactions in the past, this is what we do for a living. If somebody does something once every 3 or 4 years, they're not going to remember. I'm rewatching Breaking Bad right now. I watched it in full, like when it came out. I don't remember how many years ago it was. It's like I'm watching a brand new show. Like, I kind of know what's coming, but I'm like, everything is brand new and I'm loving it. Right. And I'm like, oh, I do remember this guy. This is about to get really bad, but I don't remember the details. Your clients are the same thing. And then having calm leadership. When things shift, when things get weird, can they count on you to be the pilot in the cockpit that's still just talking to air traffic control calmly while the wing's on fire? Like, are you that person? Or do you get wrapped up in the hype with your people? Don't be that person. So what does it look like for you, right? Neighborhood breakdowns, having honest pricing conversations, explaining the process before it's needed. And sometimes you might just have to say, you know what, based on your needs, like your non-negotiables and what we've looked at right now, this may not be the right time. We may have to revisit this when things change, either your opportunity to qualify for more or something else, or maybe if there's something else coming on the market. And even just by having that conversation with somebody, that can create a huge deposit in the trust account because it shows that you're more interested in their well-being than you're closing a deal this month. And they can feel that. All right. So time multiplies trust. So how do you do it? There's weekly presence is better than one viral post, showing up regularly. Consistency compounds more than one hit wonders. Long-term follow-up is better than a pressure text. And this is the checking in without an agenda, touching base without a receipt, sharing relevant market updates, remembering birthdays and anniversaries. Be a human being, not a human doing. Don't just do the activity because somebody said so and it's in your CRM. Care about people. Ask some questions. And then familiarity creates safety. When they see your name repeatedly in their inbox, social media, at events, you become familiar, even if they know you. But if they see your stuff coming over, it continues to work. So when the trust is high and the ask actually happens, when it's time to do the ask, it should feel obvious. And what's beautiful is that if you've got a library of educational content that people have seen, even when they meet with you for the buyer agency or the consultation or the listing appointment, when you get to the end and you go, well, based on what you've shared, it would make sense for us to look at these options together, or it sounds like you're at a really good decision point. Did you want help navigating this, and would you like to work together? The thing is that they may have spent weeks with you already online watching your stuff, to when this is the ask, they're like, yes, we couldn't wait for you to ask. We didn't know like what that looks like. And this is why some agents converted 80%, because they almost never have to ask. They're constantly teaching, they're following up, and they let the trust compound. Where the agents fail after the yes is where most agents fail. Here's where you can continue to level up in the value. Over communicate. Like, here's the thing. When you're in a transaction with somebody, let me ask you, is there ever a chance that you could over communicate what's going on? Like, no. Even if they say, like, let them tell you, hey, you know what? We're super good. Like, just like, you don't have to call every week. Just shoot me a text or an email. Let me know what's going on. And even if they say that behind the scenes, they're like, it's still really nice to see all this stuff. Like if you got updates in, it's really good. Under promise and over deliver. Set realistic expectations and then just do a little extra, unannounced, unasked for. It's better to surprise them positively than disappoint. And here's the thing, this bar is super low. There's so many agents out there that just won't even do what they say. So even just doing what you said elevates you beyond so many other people. And then by doing a little extra, you separate yourself way further. And then protect yourself emotionally. This is stressful. They don't need somebody to be stressed with them. They need you to be the litmus test. They need you to be the entropy that brings the temperature down. You need to de-escalate the situation. Empathize. Make sure that they know that you're on their side and say, okay, here's what we can do. Here's some options. Let's talk about a few, and then you're going to get to tell me what you want me to do, and I'm going to take care of it. Right? You're not competing on commission. You're competing on trust. People don't shop somebody with just the best commission if there's trust involved. If they're meeting people with no trust, then yeah, it becomes about price. And because remember, trust is a factor of value over time. And if you go back to the saying, in the absence of what, then price is a consideration. What's the blank? In the absence of
Trust.
Well, in the absence of
Value.
right? In the absence of value, and value equals trust. So you're never competing on commission. You're competing on trust, and trust is value over time. Look, I saw this and I was like, man, I have to talk about this. This is, if you can cement this as a core framework of how you show up in 2026, you're going to have a dramatically different experience. I promise you, you're going to have a lot better clients. You're going to have a lot less anxiety in your appointments. You're going to have people reaching out to you. And here's the other thing. If you're not getting as many referrals as you were hoping for, a referral is simply trust paid forward. A referral is a reaction or of a reflection of how much somebody trusts you by putting somebody else in front of you. So we're right at time. Got it. What are your top 2, 3 ahas takeaways? I want to hear what you got from this. And then I'm happy. I'm going to share these in the Facebook page so you can like look at these presentations and download them yourself and do whatever you want. Show them with your teams.
Yeah, for me, I was driving, so I didn't really get a chance to see everything you said, but it all makes sense. And I think it's super important and kind of, I mean, no better time to start talking about this stuff than the beginning of the year. So you can implement. So yeah, I mean, I'm definitely want to take a look at the slides when I can. And, luckily I pay a guy who can help me go
I
through
think I
it.
know a
So,
guy. We can put together the plan.
yeah. Yeah. So yeah, excited to look over it. Sounds like great stuff.
I think it goes in line too with what we've been talking about needing to 10x your content. Really, it needs to be more like 20 to 30x your content.
Don't 10x your content, 10x your value.
Yeah.
Because you don't need to put out 30 pieces if you're putting out 10 pieces that have the value of 30. All right. Consistency versus, I think consistency over volume is everything too. But at the end of the day, like I do believe that there is a threshold of how often we show up. And for 99% of the agents out there, everyone is not showing up enough. Like I rarely see an account that's like, man, just shut up already. Like rarely. So if you think you're over posting, you're nowhere near it. Brad. My guy. All right. Any other final thoughts? I know we're right at time. Hey, so no call Wednesday, obvi. No call Friday. Merry Christmas, y'all.
Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas.
We'll see you guys next week.